Well, hello, my lovely Facebookers. How are you all today? It's Motivation Monday, which means we're here live chatting to you about all things to do with strength, fitness, health, body shape change, and some trusted facts and science today we're bringing in as well. It's also an opportunity for you to ask any sort of questions, which you can either do while we're chatting live, or quite a lot of you like to message me afterwards, which is fine, to ask me questions, and that can sometimes spur our very next topic to talk about for Motivation Monday. So as people are joining in live, what I would love you to do is, if you are indeed watching us live today, if you put a number 1 in the comments below, that means I know that you're watching live. If you have any specific questions, I'll do my best to answer while we're on. If you're catching this as a replay, then would you write the number 2 so that I know, again, you're watching it as a replay. And again, if you have any comments or questions, I know to get back to you. It's all about the commenting, because that's what spurs for me to be able to respond and interact with you. All right, so if you are indeed watching me for the first time or watching the replay, thank you so very much. My name is Lisa Barwise, and I consider myself a kick-ass wellness alchemist, which means I am the catalyst in the transformation of women around the world, strong of mind, body, and character. I'm the creator of Warrior Goddess Kettlebell Training, which is the page that you're on, but also the creator of the Warrior Goddess Body Programs for body shape change. So today we're talking meditation, because it's something that I don't know if we talk about enough, and specifically I don't know if we do enough in our classes. We used to do a lot more, and just as we've all got busy, as I've got busy, I found that that's the first thing that goes. When I start getting busy, the first thing that goes is my meditation schedule, and that shouldn't be the case. In fact, it should be sorry, somebody called me, so annoying. It should be the opposite. So the busier that you get, the the more meditation you should do. And I'm going to give you some of the reasons why. Now, I have just written a blog post, which I'm also going to post underneath this for you to get more of the science, to even look up the studies, and to know that this is scientifically backed. So it's no longer just about, a fluffy or a fuzzy kind of way for well-being. It is scientifically proven to improve your health. But I'm going to tell you how that does that. And I'm also going to tell you how I've noticed it with myself and also my clients. So there are 12 points in my blog. I'm probably going to cover about 2 or 3 of those today. So the first one I want to talk to you about is the biggie, okay, which is stress. So meditation has been 100% proven to reduce stress. So let me talk to you specifically about how this works. So a lot of the activity that we do on a daily basis, some of which we think is good for us, in addition to other things, causes us to spike our cortisol hormone. So cortisol hormone is a necessary hormone for human survival. What happens is we are flooded with cortisol first thing in the morning. It's kind of our get up and go our hormone. However, the way that most of us live in this very fast-paced lifestyle, very reactive, very, how much more reactive in terms of social media, in terms of your job, in terms of the demands on your responsibility and your time, what tends to happen is, as that cortisol spikes, which should, after your initial get up and go has kicked in, should start to return down again for you to manage that stress level. But most of us spike that cortisol and continue to keep it up there for most of the day. And this is, done through lots of cups of coffee, which can also spike your cortisol. This can do from the commute into work, which could cause stress in terms of even traffic. Getting into work and dealing with, if you're having dealt with school runs on the way and dealing with kids, trying to get them into school, all of that sort of stuff. Then you've got to deal with the boss. Then you've got to deal with any sort of issues in that respect. And generally, the only time that you're bringing your body down is when you sleep. So, or unless you choose to maybe go and have a bath or a few other things, and you can bring that. So our body is in what we call a stress state, which is all about kicking our fight or flight. So a lot of adrenals, so we're going to be secreting, adrenaline, we're going to be secreting cortisol, and it's going to really mess with our stress. Now, if we are somebody who also exercises, exercise can cause stress, depending on what sort of exercise you do, how much of it that you do. So it's really important to understand that there needs to be a stress management system in place, okay? So the key thing is what to meditate, how much to meditate, when to meditate in relation to that. So there were studies done on mindfulness meditation, which is generally the meditation that I follow and use in our meditation classes that we run in our studio, and also the meditation that I do sometimes in the morning. And then I do it at night before bed. So mindfulness meditation. So mindfulness meditation is just so rather than trying to take everything out of your mind, you focus on something. So normally it's a body scan, which helps you to focus on parts of your body. It can be a guided meditation in terms of taking you to a certain place or a journey or a story to help you visualize, to help you to focus on something. Maybe you're hearing someone's voice, maybe you're hearing sounds. It can be more of a mindful meditation rather than trying to vacate one's mind. So it is proven that even 10 minutes a day can have a massive impact. It's better to do it more frequently, just like exercise, than doing one big 1 hour meditation once a week, which, to be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, we run meditations maybe once a month, which is an hour long. We're doing guided meditation for nearly a half an hour, and that's enough. That's enough of a time. Most people generally either maybe fall asleep as well or get really, really relaxed. So that's sufficient enough time for you to bring your body down into rest and digest stage, which also I'm going to tell you why that's so important. So stress, okay? So the other thing with this reducing stress, is it also reduces stressful incidences in your life. So if you're somebody who has a inflammatory or an autoimmune condition like fibromyalgia, like ME, a few of these other conditions, it can really be helped with meditation, because you are bringing and managing that stress response. Stress, when it happens over a long period of time, also releases the inflammatory enzymes, which I'm going to, again, sharing all the science for you later on. I'm going to put the link right under here for you to check out the blog post. But basically, it's those secretions that cause you to be more inflamed. Now, when you are inflamed, and what I mean by inflamed, sometimes I think people have a different or interesting view about this, but inflammation is the silent killer within the body. Last year, I experienced some really big issues with inflammation, even being somebody that follows a plant-based diet, that exercises regularly, but I was very stressed and was putting a lot of stress on my body, and I wasn't finding the balance. I was also consuming a lot of inflammatory foods. I'd gone back to eating a little bit more dairy than I would have, for example, and I was getting a lot of yeast-based products in, even though I was staying gluten-free. So it's really important that stress, when you add all that in, can manifest itself in a lot of body aches and pains, IBS, bloating, and stress is definitely held in your belly. In terms of digestion, you won't digest when you're stressed. When you are in fight or flight, your body does not send any blood flow to your digestive system, and that is why we don't digest. So it's really important that you understand that. The other element is cortisol hormone. So the cortisol hormone itself, when there is extra secretions, when there is more of it, then it stores and begins to pool, I suppose, in that midsection. So a lot of what we see, specifically in females past 40, when they start to add add a lot of weight to their waist, add a lot of thickening to their midsection, a lot of that is to do with what we call stress belly. So it's whether you have a buildup of cortisol hormone or whether you are inflamed and bloated and having more issues with regards to IBS. So the stress one is a really big one. But then when you start to reduce the stress, it can also reduce your anxiety. So the next thing that I hear about quite often from my clients, and we know that it's a really kind of a big issue specifically in terms of mental health, but anxiety is when you are constantly in a state of stress. Basically, you're not able to maneuver, you feel anxious, you can't make good choices, you don't want to do good things for yourself necessarily, you don't want to leave the house, you don't want to exercise, you don't want to make good choices with food, you don't want to talk to people, you don't want to socialize. It can really impact all of that. It can impact your performance in work. It can also also impact your relationships. So anxiety can be a really difficult thing to manage. But when you reduce your stress, this leads to a reduction in anxiety. It was actually measured that participants that were doing 8-week and 6 weeks of meditation, mindfulness meditation programs, were actually reducing their anxiety, having more of a positive outlook on life, and it was even impacting on their self-image as well. So it can really impact on that. So the third point that I want to make is about enhancing your emotional health. So, we go to the gym and we work out for our physical health, right? And our physicality and our physical fitness. What do we do for our mind, and what do we do for our emotions? So meditation is like taking yourself off to the mind gym. In fact, I think there's a brand out there that somebody's been very smart and called it a mind gym, because that's really what it is. Meditation can help you to get control of your thoughts, get control of the emotions, understand your own reactions, start to turn your focus inward in terms of a little bit of self-discovery and self-reflection, all of which can help you to have a greater and more, a more stable self-view in terms of your self-image, but also can help you to then work on being the best version of you from a non-judgmental point of view. So a lot of the time, especially as women, and I see it over and over again, we're so judgmental towards ourselves. Not even others. I see it with others too, but mostly towards ourselves. We judge the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we look, the way we dress. We're constantly having this negative self-talk going on and on and on in our minds. Our inner mean girl often wins the day. So how we can move away from that is through a process of introspection, taking time to focus inward, taking time to look at more positive, being more in control of our thoughts, in control of how we feel, and understanding our reactions to those sorts of things. And that is what meditation can do. So I'm only going to cover these 3 points because there's so much more I could cover. Like literally, there's 12 points that I've covered in this particular blog post because the benefits just keep on coming. But the next question is, how do you get started with meditation? So first of all, we run meditation regularly in our studio. We've kicked off with 2 events over the next 4 weeks. We call them our magical meditation because we do them in line with our moon cycles or with the seasonal changes in terms of the Sabbats. We've got a spring equinox meditation coming up. But it's really just a chance for women to come together, to focus on them, to prioritize their self-care, to work on reducing their stress, to work on getting grounded and feeling stronger mind and body and emotions. Or I like to say as character as well. So that's the way that you can do it. So sometimes doing it in a group setting can help. Generally, women respond so much better to group settings because that's the way we are. We're very social. We like to get together. There is something about the power of the circle of women, and that's what it can feel like. So it's point number 1. If you wanted to get started at home, my recommendation very simply is how I got started, which is I use an app called the Calm app, CALM. They have lots of free ones, and then you can eventually, if you like the idea, subscribe to that. So the free ones are simply about they have like a 7-day, what do you call it, beginner's course, I suppose. So, from 5 minutes, from 10 minutes, and it's guided. There's somebody talking you through it. There's some really nice sounds. You can choose from the background of a lake or the background of water or rain or thunderstorms or whatever relaxes you. And you can do it as part of your morning routine, as your evening routine, your post-bath routine. You can do it before bed. There's a whole sleep one. There's also ones focused at different areas, mindfulness, kindness, dealing with anxiety. They have covered everything. And I would use that one on a regular basis. The app is amazing. It is, they've really spent a lot of time on this, and I'm actually a full subscriber now because I use it so regularly. They've also created this thing called Sleep Stories, which is amazing before sleep. It's like somebody telling you a bedtime story, but with an added bit of mindfulness in there in terms of helping you to, turn that focus inward and get you ready for sleep. So it would be my recommendation. You can access that just through your Android or Apple phone, and it's Calm, C-A-L-M, the Calm app. So you can enjoy that. And then other than that, I would definitely recommend, if you're starting to get used to that, you can do it as part of a yoga practice. In a yoga class, they tend to have the Savasana 5 to 10 minutes at the end, which is very important for you to stay. A lot of our classes have a meditation element, or used to have a meditation element, and we now run regular classes to accommodate that. So I hope that was helpful, ladies. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about mindfulness, about meditation, about dealing with stress, about finding balance, then do reach out. I often use your questions as more fuel for the next week's topic, because that's how I know that I'm helping to serve you. If you want to find out a little bit more how I can help you, go ahead and reach out via this page. You can send us a PM. I'm here for you. And until then, enjoy. Again, I'm going to pop in that link to the full blog below so you can read more of the information and get an idea of how it works. And I look forward then to connecting with you all next Monday. All right, enjoy your Monday. Peace out.